Which Catwoman costume is the best one?
Really. Julie Newmar, Eartha Kitt, Lee Merriweather. All they're from the 60s. The 60s live action show with you know who. 100%.
Grade A, Adam West.
No extra padded muscles in there.
Yeah, we can tell.
If I represent, yo.
I was gonna write you an email, but I'm a little drunk and spelling is a sober person's game. So I feel I owe you an explanation. I'm sorry. Explanation.
All right.
How was your Texas sheet cake?
To die for. It was like butter. Because it's called
your
butter
mouth.
Hits. We'll talk about dogs and daughters. It's really good. There's still about, well, maybe a third of it left.
Nice.
So if
I don't think I've. Huh?
You hurry up.
I don't think I've had Texas sheet cake since the last time I was there and Mom made Texas sheet cake.
Well, she doesn't make it a lot because she's like, it's for your birthday. You want to have something. And so I throw in, oh, okay, I'll have a chocolate souffle. I get Texas sheet cake. Because I do love, it's like, you remember lava cake?
Oh, yeah, of course I remember lava cake.
Lava cake is, yeah, chocolate souffle is actually about that much higher. And it's to die for as well.
Never had it, but I don't eat sweets anymore, so. Which, by the way, when I do come to visit, she doesn't need to make Texas sheet cake.
She doesn't need to know that either.
I will let her know since I can't trust you to tell her.
But I get Texas sheet cake then. This is not just all about one Lilith Draco.
It is, though. When I come to visit, it is all about me.
Well, get it together then. Ooh, I got to say it. It's like when the doctor
being on the receiving end.
This is like when the doctor went into the TARDIS after River Song let him in, thinking, not knowing he was the doctor, and he got to do the thing. It's bigger on the inside than it is on the outside. I win so few. Just
you do.
Of course, when I do win, it's worth it.
Well, it's always worth it when I win.
At least
what
2
time
times.
was not worth it?
Catwoman.
It was so worth it.
Well, we want to get this party started. Ooh, oh, I forgot. I forget I have one of those.
Oh, yes, let's. I have something though right before we get started, so.
Well, like now? Oh. Well done. We've only been talking about it for. We'll go back and look at the.
Though it did come with a pen that has a little eraser, and I was going to change the director to something funny, so I erased it, and it doesn't really erase. So this is just always going to be what it is.
Oh, awesome.
But yes, I pulled the trigger.
Pew, pew, pew.
Pew, pew.
I'm going to whine about this. At least it's not the hand I eat pizza with.
Oh, that would be bad.
You do still eat pizza, right?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I don't eat it often, but yes, I ate pizza on Friday.
Well, everyone ate pizza on Friday because.
Exactly. So yeah, I still will eat pizza now and then. All right. Ready to take 2?
All right. So I really don't have a good introduction here. So welcome back My fellow agents, Lilith's hellions of hellaciousness. It is I, X7, the master of ceremonies, master of mystic mayhem. With me, as always, is Lilith Draco, the lady
Hi,
of.
welcome back. Sorry, I jumped the gun. Take 3.
No, let's leave that in. It's rare for a woman to jump the gun, so
True.
it happens to everybody. Just having a Rachel flashback. Where was I? Oh, well, Lilith Draco, the lady of the lake, the darling daughter of death herself, my co-host, and she's wonderful.
Oh, thanks. So are you.
Well, I had we had 5 people over for the celebration, and they all said, and it makes one realize it's a good thing to have even 5 close friends like Raj.
It is.
Sadly, 3 of them are now dead. One of them brought me 6. One of them brought me 6 friends.
Oh, nice. Good friends.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, they're all lower, but I gave David the zonker, one of the zonkers.
Okay.
But yeah, speaking of friends, which friend are you talking to right now?
So I'm drinking a Pure Project Hot Dust Murky India Pale Ale.
Murky.
I don't know.
I like the cover.
It's from San Diego.
Oh.
It's not one that I heard about when we were on assignment there.
Well,
but it's a 6.8, so it's a good first beer.
It's a pint.
It has a pretty good flavor, but it's not bitter enough, so I wouldn't get this again.
I found that sometimes the first beer can be, if it has a good flavor, it doesn't really have to be that, potent, because it preps you for what's the word? What do I want to say? Well, it gets you ready for the good beers.
True.
That's why I have the Guinness, which is the extra stout, which is an extra 5.4, or the Zonker is a 6%, but I've got it.
Though, if you drink the more potent, better beer first, it will change your taste buds a little bit, and the second one won't be quite as bad as if you had it the first beer.
Or you throw a shot of whiskey in it, or tequila, or anything. Not really gin, but although as bitter as gin is, I'm surprised someone doesn't like it.
I've had gin. I don't mind it.
You drink the gin and tonics?
I've never had a gin and tonic, but I put gin in other mixture drinks.
I've actually sampled one, and between the seltzer or the tonic water and the lime, you put the lime in the gin and you mix it all up. It actually tasted way better than I would have thought. I'm like, that's why I stay away from liquor a lot, because
there was
it's not the blue shit that makes it blue.
Right. So Ryan Reynolds Deadpool himself has a line of gin, and it's called Aviation. And I've had that, and last year he put out a Deadpool line. It was still the same gin, but it had the Deadpool label. Had to try that too. So I don't drink a lot of gin, but I mean, it's fine. It's fine in drinks.
Because I didn't care for it. I've had a martini. Well, I've sampled a martini. I won't do that again. But it's like a sculpin. Didn't even charge me for that, and it was only $2.50.
Good. Nice.
I've got this far into a pint.
That's how I felt with my first Guinness.
Yeah, so
that far into a pint.
I only drank my first Guinness because Gary gave it to me. You remember Gary, right?
I remember Gary. Does the nerd want whiskey? Yes, she does.
Well, he put it in front of me. He's like, we have 4 of these. I'm like, you can't turn one down. And I'd already had like 4 shots because he put those in front of me too. And he's like, That band got me drunker than even more than you. All right, so today, my believers, my agents, my hellions, her hellions, whoever's hellions you want to be, we are going to be talking about a topic, subject near and dear to my own heart since I was, at least 8 years old, 9 years old. I was a very young agent. We don't use the word we around here much anymore. Ruin that. But we're going to be talking about Athena, the goddess of wisdom, the goddess of war, and olives of all things.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Well, that Delara's book of Greek gods is wonderful. She was not always polite to other women, mortals anyway.
Right.
But poor Arachne. But other than that, she's one that I look to for both wisdom and courage because she's smart about when she fights, as opposed to somebody else here who is not always smart about when he fights. It's that red hair of his, it's no lie.
It happens.
It sure does. Oh. So we're going to talk about Athena, her origins, and well, we're going to have to talk about the olive. So, and just anything else that comes to mind.
Yes. Where do you want to start? Should we just start with the origins?
I think that's important. Yes, because Zeus and his philanderness. I'd like to see Ned Flanders as Flandering Zeus.
I haven't watched Simpsons in so long.
Zap diddly app. So Athena, and I don't remember exactly, and I should have had the book here. I should have done that research, but I was researching a different topic.
You want to pause and go grab the book?
Well, I just don't remember how she got in there. She was born out of Zeus's head, giving him a massive headache. And
nice.
I don't even know. I think Hephaestus, or Vulcan, as the Romans called him. Athena's Roman name is Minerva.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, Minerva's a good name. Minerva McGonagall is perfect, but Athena's
Athena better.
Athena's, yes. Somehow he ended up swallowing her, I think from her mother, probably, because Hera, rightfully so, knew that her husband was a gadabout, and I think he turned her mother into a fly. Anyway, Hephaestus had to cleave Zeus's head open to get Athena out because she'd been banging on it.
Okay.
And of course, she has gray hair and gray eyes that flash. Athena Thundermaker is something she was called in the Iliad. So obviously she's got some of her father's temper at some point, which she shows. But she came out and was the goddess of wisdom and war. Mostly I learned the goddess of wisdom. The war thing was something I learned later on. And I don't know when. I mean, I had a cat who was, because Athena had gray hair and gray eyes, I got a fuzzball of a cat, a Persian, I think, who was gray and white, and I named her Athena. And she was, if she was 12 pounds, if she had to be 12 or 13, she was a big cat. I actually have old film footage of our dog Juno, the Roman name for Hera, kowtowing to that cat who was not having any of her nonsense. No, actually, yes, it was Juno because Venus came later. And Athena was a big girl and just very independent, but she was gray. And so I named her after Athena, not knowing, whether or not that was sacrilegious or
right.
I don't think it was. I think, but I had not learned enough about the Delara's book. Did not mention the owl. I mean, it did mention the owl, but not by name. You can just guess who I learned the name from.
Rick Belland.
But I do love owls. We had great horned owls that would visit in our growing up. like make a yearly migration, and they are very loud when they hoot. I mean, it's like you look up and you can usually pretty much find them with echolocate without
Yeah,
pinpoint it because it's loud. And
right.
they're 3 feet tall. I mean, they weigh all of like 10 pounds because they're hollow bones like all dinosaurs. So but I didn't, when you're young, you don't put everything together as to who might be looking over you. It was later on,
Hmm.
much later on, actually, when I realized, well, she's kind of been part of my life for some 50 plus years. And they actually don't have anything, you know, I have a necklace of Hecate and just of, Thor and Bastet, but nothing really of Athena except for the statue of my cat that I painted gray and wrote Athena on in my handwritten. I've had that a long time too, because she looked like my cat, except that her fur was not matted and Athena was a wild child, but
I don't know much about Athena. Like I know Athena, but what I know about Athena is a bewitch because
yeah.
Medusa has always been the great character that I've always liked.
Well, she couldn't punish her uncle for desecrating her temple. She went for the mortal, who did probably deserved a little punishment, but not that punishment.
Not to that extent.
Yeah, and we
Really, it was Poseidon's fault,
yes,
but
but
whatever.
she punished she punished us because they made the movie, and guess who had to hear about it for 50? It's my
50
issue.
years?
Well, since I will have actually known him in for 50 years in this many years. 50. 50. But not tree fitty.
Wow.
Yeah.
At this point, you probably just kind of tune it out and let him say what he needs to say, and then
Actually, he's kind of quit talking about the movies.
interesting.
Well, he forgets what he's told me, but he talks about him
Well,
and
he's
Jessica.
always done that, though.
But he talks about Jessica more, what they're doing. And
Interesting.
yeah,
Huh.
so he's not even going to. They're in Italy. Well, they might be back by now, and he didn't even go to. They're not in the southern part where Paestum is, where they filmed that movie and Jason and the
Okay.
Argonauts, the harpy sequence. but but yeah, so yes, you're right. I would blame Poseidon. I've been looking for a water god recently because I'm in the water so much, and I was like, okay, I don't care much for Poseidon. And the Ran is her name. The Norse goddess of the sea is
Yeah.
a little unpleasant. I mean, not that I wouldn't throw somebody overboard for her, but
Well,
just so I'm
he'll
not sure.
come to you
Yeah.
when the goddess is ready to let you know.
Can it be
It'll be made known.
can it be Madison from Splash? I do that.
Well,
I'd accept that.
yeah, yeah. I love that movie
Oh yes, we are going to talk about mermaids at some point in time.
at some point, yes.
Excellent. So, um, where were we?
Athena.
Yes, Athena.
Athena.
She also turned Arachne into a spider for being better at her weaving. So she did have a temper. So, I mean, and did
Oh
Arachne
yeah.
deserve that? Well, if you're dumb enough to do better than the goddess, you should be prepared for,
Right.
but, and I mean, your humble agent does not care. I mean, I like spiders outside doing their jobs, eating other bugs and keeping us safe. I don't want them around me, even though,
No.
I mean,
Mm-mm.
Spider-Man and me are like, Spider-Man and me.
This on your side, not his. He has no
We're
idea
not
who
like
you are.
Harley and Ivy, but yeah, I mean, I appreciate spiders as long as they're not crawling over me.
Well,
Although
and the story goes that when she turned Medusa into the snake monster, the younglings in her snake hair fell out, and that's why there's poisonous snakes in Africa. So she's technically, responsible for snakes.
well, that's all right. I like snakes. I have one here. I was born in the year of the
You
snake.
You sure do.
So.
And I've been told that I have snake hair. So
It's been drawn.
yes, in sidewalk chalk.
Yes, the girl with the snaky hair. Slane Castle Knight.
Ooh, that was rough.
So the reason that Athens is named Athens, I'll tell the olive story here, is that Poseidon, once again, and Athena wanted that city as to be consecrated to them. So they were having an argument, and then they decided, well, we'll let the people decide, the city decide. And we'll say we'll each give them a gift, and whatever gift they decide is the best one, that'll be their patron god. So Poseidon went first and struck the side of a wall or the ground and brought up a well that bubbling up. Unfortunately, being the god of the sea, it was salt water. So while they could probably use it for health, although they wouldn't have known it at the time,
right?
Salt water is very good for you, not to drink, but but they
right.
could, or use it for. Well, the Greeks didn't really make beer, ambrosia, and then the Romans did wine. But I digress. So Athena brought out the olive. You can use it for olive oil. It's a tree, and you can eat it. Why you'd eat it is beyond me, and of course,
delicious. It's delicious. You can then put them on each of one of your fingers and eat them.
And every one of you do that. That likes olives. I have a cousin who will eat. That's the only way she'll eat olives.
Mm-hmm.
So she won because the olive was far more useful than a saltwater spring, even though a saltwater spring would be very good as a tourist attraction. And apparently Poseidon was okay with that. He must have forgiven her she must have forgiven him for desecrating her temple, or maybe that happened before. So yes.
Or Medusa.
It's where Athens came from.
Okay.
It's the Acropolis is there. Everything is an Athena oriented. I don't know if the Delphi Oracle is not there. That's an Apollo thing, if I remember correctly. So, I mean, I have known Athena my entire life. I mean, almost, a long time.
Right.
Not my entire life. She's not been represented. She's not been represented a lot in comic books.
Mm.
I mean, she's shown up here and there. Diana calls upon her, Wonder Woman, Diana to me, calls upon her for strength. Not so much strength. Hera, she asks for Hera. She calls upon Hera a lot.
Okay.
Considering Diana's father might be Heracles, or Ares, you just don't know. They're kind of vague about it, depending on who you ask. But she's shown up, and she did show up in one of the Justice League action cartoons and badmouth Batman. He almost ejected her from the Batplane.
Nice.
Wanted Diana to assume her role as a goddess on Olympus. But not all superheroes can fly, can they, Batman? He's pointing at the eject button. And, Diana's just aghast because she's still a very thoughtful young woman.
Right.
But you don't see, you don't see her much in fact, the only movie I can think of her in is Clash of the Titans. But I'm sure she's been represented in other ways. I mean, there's a lot of artwork, obviously, about her. Perseus did present her with the head, and that's why it's on her shield. She gave him Bubo in the story. It was not mechanical. She was the real owl, and because Zeus said, "Give him weapons," and they did. He did not fight a Kraken. He was another sea monster. That was just something that, because the Kraken is from, Sweden, the North Atlantic.
Okay.
But, that doesn't stop anybody from talking about it incessantly, how he would have improved the Kraken sequence. I could do a whole review as him. Really good. I'm not dressing up as a bellend, though.
Oh, well, when we decide to do that episode, we'll figure out how we want to do it. We could just sit here and watch you be you and him going back and forth. That might be fun.
It was rushed. Yes, it was. I wish they hadn't. I wish those 2 guards hadn't disappeared, but they just looped the film. How many times have you watched this? 132 and counting. I saw it with Ray Harryhausen himself.
See, it might be entertaining.
It would be for you. Oh, if you snorted your beers, I would laugh though.
It might get me to do that.
Yeah, because I can tell you about some. I've saved one good story.
Oh no!
Not about Flash, but about something, a personal experience of his first time. Well, anyway.
Oh no!
Because if I gotta know, but that was probably.
You have to time it right though to when I'm actually drinking.
That's probably best saved for when we're together.
Oh yeah, I absolutely, because seeing it in person would be way better than having it here. Though, if we were doing this, we could watch it over and over and over.
It would be safer for me, probably.
Probably.
So, Athena.
So yeah, I did watch Clash of the Titans a lot, and that's where I fell in love with Medusa, which I have Medusa tattooed on me, and I do have Athena tattooed on me. She's upside down. And I do have Bubo, and I have the Acropolis, and I have the Kraken and Poseidon. The whole Medusa story. So even though I never knew a whole lot about Athena, she is permanently on me.
Yeah. I don't even have an owl on me. It's just
yeah.
I have a Pteranodon though.
You have a couple dinosaurs.
Well, I
and
have
some flying dinosaurs.
Knew that was coming. The flappy kind. The flappy flaps, as Izzy says on one of my dinosaur podcasts. Because Dr. David Hone, the world's foremost authority his name's David, of T-Rex, is also a very good authority on pterosaurs in general, but so Izzy hassles. She's
Pterosaur.
It means winged lizard.
Yeah, flying dinosaur.
She calls him flappy flaps to annoy him.
She and I might get along.
Well, I'd get along with her. She's only 6 feet tall, but she also rates.
No, you love your tall women.
Yeah, I'm an equal. Yes, I've gone from 4'11" to 5'11". Actually, Aria's 6 feet tall, so
yeah,
taller than me. Thought she was an Amazon, and boy, was I wrong. The most girly girl.
So, question: Athena's one of your goddesses.
Yes, sir.
How do you honor her?
Oh, well. First of all, pick your battles, because I think your wisdom comes in fighting the battles that if you're gonna fight a battle, make it one that you're worth fighting. It's worth fighting for. There are lots of. This has come into play in the last 5 years. Go figure. I wish I'd have picked one battle a little better, but I did not. Anyway, using the wisdom to trying to, as far as honoring her, I think that she would appreciate that. As far as honoring her, I'm still working out that sort of thing. But the wisdom, I mean, that's where, because, I don't know Greek fighting I mean, Greeks are known for wrestling each other naked, right?
Yes.
Not 100%. I'm
Yes.
sure I'm down with that. At least, well, anyway. So I always, early on, it was always the goddess of wisdom. I mean, they did not use the war. So, but I try to think that, use your intelligence. I'm a smart man on occasion. If your agents, I said occasion, I didn't say always. It's just trying to, what would Athena do? What would she decide? What would Athena decide?
Right.
Is this worth your time and energy and effort? And it's not always easy. It never is. I mean, because a lot of human gut reaction is, and you should trust your gut, but as someone would say, trust Allah, but tie up your camel. That came from a Sinbad movie. But it is, trust but verify. Trust, but if your instinct is saying you need to not be here, or this is not the winnable, this is the Kobayashi Maru, get the hell out. Oh, I tied in Star Trek.
You did. I mean, you could also look at wisdom as knowledge as well.
Right.
Because it's along those same lines. So I know that you like to learn about new things and build that knowledge, build that wisdom to then be able to make even more, what am I trying to say? Make better choices to know when to hold back or to proceed.
Eventually, I'll have the wisdom to learn to stop talking.
That will never happen.
Well, I would like to have the wisdom to not volunteer as much of the knowledge that I have on occasion. And I think I've been working on that. And unless someone asks me, or if someone says, like my sainted mother, well, who is Kal-El? Okay, I will say, do you want this answer? Are you sure? And then usually
are you sure?
I've asked you that. Is this an answer you want?
Many times.
And sometimes you still say yes and probably regret it. And that's
one of my downfalls.
As you'll probably find out in our next episode. So please comment and let us know what you think about Athena or any of your other gods or goddesses, deities. I generally use gods anymore just because.
Deity, yeah.
Deity or god. I mean, just because, why are you separating them from, you don't say deitess. So,
no, deities.
Yeah. Either one. I mean, just God or gods or deities, but just leave out the feminine, the alleged feminine suffixes. It's like actress. What's the point? They're all actors. It's not.
Yeah.
But do we have anything else?
No, I think I'm shared all my knowledge of Athena.
Perfect. All right. Well, my fellow agents, fellow Hellions, we're going to wrap this up. Just remember, you can find your gods and goddesses, your deities, anywhere. They'll come to you. Sometimes when you're asleep.
Yes.
So until our next adventure, our next assignment, our next pagan ritual, this is X7 signing off. That's my own symbol. I made that.
Nice. So special.
Because I'm cool like that. That's what my mom says.
My mom thinks I'm cool.
Thanks, Millhouse. But we'll see you on the next episode.
Bye.
Bye.
Live long and prosper.
I got beer.
I got bottled breast milk.
Why don't we start with the beer?
Okay.
Do you like the beer?
I do. Although it's actually a lager.
Huh. What's the difference between beer and lager?
I don't know. We could look it up.